So I just got an email this morning that told me that all of my family have been vaccinated, and I very much have a different opinion about the vaccination and what's behind it. So I've done a lot of research and listened to a lot of science about it, and so I have an opinion and a belief and an understanding that is opposite than my family. And my heart is really hurting right now that that we're so on opposite ends of the scale. And so I'm asking myself, how can I move through this with love? How can I let everyone have their own idea and me have mine and love myself in the process? So it all comes back to that there are concepts that, if you have any kind of spiritual mindset, that some concepts that are out there that are talked about, we're all one, we create our own reality, we're all connected, and so on. And then there are some concepts that work really well in good circumstances, and then when the shit hits the fan, they kind of lose their power sometimes. And what I'm doing right now is coming back to that and walking my talk, as painful as it is, to allow and embrace everything. And even though that other people's decisions are opposite of what I would decide, I have to allow that. I have to embrace that, or I get to choose to embrace that and realize that there are inner workings of those decisions that I'm not privy to, that I may not understand, that there are some uh, different concepts that they live with that I don't live with. There are some understandings that they have that I don't have. And who am I to embrace all of my understandings on everyone? That I get to allow everyone to embrace that. And this concept is something that I've talked about, but I guess I'm starting to embody, is seeing through God's eyes, not being God, but to see through God's eyes. And that's how I would see God as being, as embracing all of it, because it's all of it. So that's what I'm working with this morning. And of course, my topic today is radical self-love. And I went through this presentation that I worked on, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. And it was 10 ways to embody self-love, or to embody love, which to me is pretty much the same thing as self-love. If you're embodying love, then there's got to be self-love there. But it's a radical understanding of it. So I kind of, the place that I was in that got created was a very powerful, completely open place. So I want to share that with you. So let's see if I can use technology to share what I'm talking about here. All right, give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation. Great. Okay, first, the way that I start this is just to have a heart meditation. So I invite you just to close your eyes. Just a quick meditation, just to drop in, so that we can all of us drop in, no matter if you're watching this live or from a recording, that we can all drop into love. So move your consciousness from your mind to your heart. And how you might do that is just to think about your head, think about your mind, and then put your awareness, or think about your heart. That's an easy way of saying it. Now, as your awareness is in your heart, feel a little bit more how that feels. So when we put our awareness somewhere, we start to feel that place, whether it's our pinky or our big toe or our heart. Now imagine in your mind that you would throw your arms out to your sides, like as if you were dying, that you would completely throw your arms out to your sides, and you would say, I accept. So imagine that you would breathe this in. I accept, and then you would exhale the words, the love of God. And then you would say, I open and receive the reality of love now. And I just imagine saying that right before I die. And then I imagine, what would it be like if I said that before I died? That I completely let go and surrendered and allowed that into me. So it's more of a, I guess the good word for this is a rapture. Invite the rapture of realization of divine nature, truth, and love. And you can open your eyes. What is embodying love? So I had to really think about this. Like, what am I talking about, or what wants to be talked about when I talk about embodying love? And there's lots of different ideas about it, and I just wanted to get really clear about it. This is not about serving or being a saint. There have been saints who did not embody love. They served out of obligation and duty, and some even resented God, but they still served. So I wouldn't say that just serving or being called a saint is actually embodying love. They can be two separate things. This is not about passivity or weakness. It takes strength, dedication, and determination to embody love. Sometimes it takes disobedience. So what I mean by that is that sometimes I've really needed to go into my heart and really ask myself, I know that I'm supposed to do this, but I go into my heart and say, but what feels the best to me? And that's what that little paragraph is talking about, is that the world may say this, but my heart may say something different. This is not about becoming something. Try as you might, you cannot shake off love or / God. So it's not about making myself into something. It's actually, if I remove the layers of myself, of my conditioning of my life, I'm already that. I came in as that. And then life happened. And then things got layered on top of that. So my work throughout, these last 20 years or so has just been kind of removing those layers that I got accustomed to. Oh, I just want to remind myself about the movie Cloud Atlas, because if you haven't seen Cloud Atlas, I highly recommend it. And do your best to not get stuck in the idea that it's the movie itself is a complicated one, because there's a deeper message in there about multiple lives and connection, and that we're all connected with each other. And I've been the villain and the victim and the hero. And it's a perplexing and opening and awakening movie that I've seen over 35 times. So just a reminder to watch that movie. If you haven't watched it, if you could push yourself to watch that movie 10 times and see what happens. This is not about understanding. This time together is about embracing. This is not about being a nice person. This has nothing to do with your personhood. And what I mean by that is there's a part of us that wants to be a good person and hates ourselves when we're a bad person. And that whole idea is a vicious loop. It's an egoic loop that says I'm never enough and I'm never lovable enough, and people don't love me or they hate me, and it's built up by the egoic mind. So what I'm talking about, embodying love, doesn't have any room for actually being a nice person, because now it puts us back into trying to be something from it. Why not just embody love and just let that be? It's kind of like the statement, I am. When you say I am, you rest in that. And if you could rest in I am, you are love. Anything that you add on top of that, I'm a good person, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm an American, whatever, it adds on something on top of that. And then you're back to trying to do your best to be a good person. This is about cultivating the fire of Christ consciousness and letting the logs catch the fire. This is not a complicated concept. It is simple, and your heart knows the truth. And the only part of us that really has a problem with it is, of course, our minds. We hear these words, and I can feel it in myself that when I'm speaking these words, I can feel a little bit of a voice in there that says um, it doesn't want to lose itself. It says, but what about the things that I like to do that don't really serve me? And that's the thing, is I get to love myself there too. And no matter what the mind comes up with, I just continue to love that part of myself. That's the process. To embody love is different than to love or to be loving. We are love. We've been taught that love stinks or love sucks, and that to love or to be loving is the best that we can do unless we are a saint, which is somehow impossible. Embodying love is your highest physical experience and is very close to you. It is loving the mind, the character, the identity, allowing truth to walk ahead. Your will to express love is God's will. Why embody love? Because love embraces all things, allows all things, trusts all things, and therefore transcends all things. It's only when I get myself into resistance about how my family feels about vaccinations or this or that or this presidential candidate, whatever, when I'm in resistance to that there's a multitude of different viewpoints from God, that they're all viewpoints from the same source. So, and I'm also one. So how can I, unless I'm really stuck in that this is the limits of me, this personality, this character, unless I'm stuck in that, it really serves me to just let go and embrace all of it. Oops, sorry, technical difficulty. How would you feel if you embodied love? What would you have to give away, or what would you have to let go of? And why don't you? Who is this you? This is the thing that I had to ask myself. Who is this you that was in any kind of resistance? Like if I said, if I want to embody love, and then a thought came up, some kind of fear, some kind of worry, well, then people would run all over me, or people would take advantage of me or something. Who is that has that thought? Because that thought pops up there, but there's someone who notices it. And that's the trick right there, is that I realize that I'm the one who notices it. I'm not the one who has the thought. I'm not the one who is the thought. And then I rest in that. That's where I get back to, okay, now I'm back here. Now I'm back into awareness, embodying love. I don't lose myself in the thought about what would happen. And so here you are. So here's a little disclaimer. This perspective may rattle you, challenge your core beliefs, and activate your ego to defend itself. It is simple. It's not complicated. Another reminder for me about a movie called As It Is in Heaven. And this is one of, besides Cloud Atlas, As It Is in Heaven was another movie that just completely opened up my heart and allowed me to just completely surrender and embody love in that moment. And it's a foreign film, and it's about this composer that has a kind of a breakdown. He's overworked himself. He goes back to I think it's Sweden or Finland or Norway, to back to his hometown, and he gets kind of wrapped up into the local town's drama and the local choir and all this, and there's all this stirring emotion about humanity. And I'm watching this movie, and I could feel my emotions come up to the surface, and it's like a volcano that was getting ready to erupt. And I remembered that throughout my life, I've kind of found ways to press down on my emotions and keep them hidden and not allow them to embarrass myself by letting them be seen. And so this movie just kind of was this volcano just building up and building up. And finally, I couldn't hold it back any longer. And I had my two roommates with me in the room. We were watching this movie together. And I thought, don't embarrass yourself. Don't be a freak, you know? And I just exploded with emotion. And I wasn't crying out of sadness. I was crying because of the beauty of the emotion, and maybe it was all that pent up emotion of life. It just all came up. And what was so cool is that my roommates were very present with that. They allowed me just to be with that, just allowed me to cry and just let it out. They didn't say, like, this is something that was very healing to me, that they didn't say, don't cry, because that's something that was far back in my childhood when I had a traumatic experience. One of my relatives said, don't cry, you're the man of the house now. And that stuck with me, and it kind of was sort of a catalyst to push down the emotions. So when they didn't say that, that was a real healing moment for me. Okay, number one, remove obstacles you have created. Can you stop resisting reality and stop wanting the world to be different than the way it is? Look at and question your core beliefs. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from truth? That was a huge one for me, is allowing the world to be as it is. And that there are so many things outside of me in some other place that is healthy for me to have compassion for, but it doesn't need to be my world. So I can still have my heart in it, but it doesn't need to run my world. So if I allow the world to be as it is, and I look at how my world is right now, this is where I'm at. So what conditions have you put on the world, on love? Have you said the world would be better for me if something, if there was a different president, if there wasn't a virus, or if there was more money in the world, or whatever the thing is? Imagine what life would be if I took those conditions off of it. Choose higher. Choose to step into a higher version of you, and your world will reflect this higher version. Let go of the idea that you have known who someone is. And what I mean by that is that we see everyone through our own lens, through our own perspective, through our own conditioning, through our own histories and our own traumas. We see a white person or a black person or a gay person or a straight person or a Republican or a Democrat, and all of a sudden we have these different ideas about how that person is. So imagine if we pulled back from that and just allowed us to have a genuine connection with that person. Seek out that which is false. Come out of the insanity of the mind. Stop believing only what you see. Your senses and your own limited mind deceive you. Your identifications are imaginary. Discover the truth of who you are, your true nature. You are a bubble of water existing, individuated, and floating within the water. You are love, individuated within love. You cannot get away from this truth. You are God, individuated within God. When you are working, praying, making love, you are not being watched by God. God is being. That was a powerful one that just came out. The one that really hits me is that you are love, individuated within love. You cannot get away from that. That's a really powerful one for me. Number 3, love your first partner. See yourself in partnership with the character of you, which includes the ego identity, mind, and body. When you stumble in life, see every misstep as an opportunity to love your, quote, self, your personhood, from the third person perspective. So the idea is something that came to me when I was in a massage, Reiki, craniosacral with an amazing practitioner. And I had that moment where you forget that you're breathing. You kind of wake up a little bit. Oh my gosh, I don't remember like doing the inhale exhale thing. And I had that moment, and then I felt myself come out of my body, like my awareness was out of my body, looking at my body on the massage table, and it kind of had this super heart connection with my physical self. And it was the thoughts were, the awareness was, oh, look at Daniel. He's just perfect for me. He's very passionate, and he's got lots of fire, and he's got lots of love, and he wants to be this and that at the same time, and he wants to experience life. And God, he's made lots of mistakes, and I love that, and I wish he knew it. That's the thing that really hit me, was that the awareness was, I wish he knew how much I love him, how much his soul, God, I am presence, spirit loves him. Like if he could understand that, it would change everything. So it really kind of gave me that shift in perspective. In your darkest moments, ask, how would Christ see me now? Ask, love, will you love me here as well? And let that be flooded within you. So in your darkest moment, ask yourself, will you love me here as well? So you're asking love, you're asking Christ, you're asking Spirit, you're asking God, will you love me here also? And that was a powerful one. Number 4, choose from self-love. Ask, what would love do? Surround and support yourself with Christ consciousness. Make your decisions from your highest excitement. And you can surround and support yourself with Christ consciousness by listening to, reading, channeled messages. There's a thing called Way of Mastery. There's something else called ChristReturns.org. And it's not about Jesus Christ the man so much as it is about the consciousness of Christ. So it's an amazing vibration and frequency of consciousness. Watch what happens when you cultivate and know the love that you are and have no choice but to extend that love to everything and everyone. When you create from love, what happens from that doesn't matter. Let everything that you consume be consumed in love. Touch others. Are you protecting? How has protecting yourself really served you? It's been serving the egoic self, but has it been really serving you in your expansion? You've been a prisoner and didn't even know it. Let yourself, your heart be touched. Remove the governor upon your heart. We long to connect. There's a deep and intimate experience waiting to be created, but we must open the door, or the door may be opened for us. And that's kind of what happened for me, is that the door got opened for me. And some people have some critical, traumatic, or life-changing experience, some illness or some accident or some divorce or whatever the thing is, to cause some big shift in their life. And I kind of had all of it because I was so stubborn. We never truly know anyone. We only see the reflection of ourselves. Choose to see their soul and allow their journey. That's a big one for me right now. Number 6, become present. Stop trying to escape. Slow down, breathe, embrace what is, and experience it fully. Peace, not passivity, is your ultimate goal. Give yourself space to love yourself, to feel rapture. That one's really important right now. What I told you I was going through is that embrace what is and experience it fully. So if I want to embrace and experience what I'm having right now, that I'm embracing everyone, that there's any thought from me that says they're making a wrong decision, to allow them to have their decision, and who am I to know that it's a wrong or right decision? When that song comes on and threatens to take you away, can you let it burst forth your naked heart? Can you let it completely open you up and present some kind of deep, unknown love to come forth out of your heart? When a flower or a bird takes your heart, don't describe it, but instead imagine you don't know this thing. Be in wonder at it as yet another form of God. So when you see a bird, instead of trying to figure out what kind of bird that is and how big or small or colorful, whatever it is, try not to know it right away. Just experience it. Number 7, be authentic, not as a task, but as a pleasure. Speak your heart. Stop trying to be positive or to think positive thoughts. Take some time to find yourself, discover what really lights you up, and live that. Do what you cannot not do. Do what you cannot not do. Step fully into your true self. No longer allow others to influence you into being something that will make them feel better. You cannot fail with this. When we live an authentic life, it's sort of like here's the stream of source energy and love and acceptance and wellness and abundance and all that. But because we have free will, we kind of play in the dirt. We play in the rocks for a little bit, and we say, and I can play here too. Embrace all things. Allow versus embrace. Allow the burnt toast, then choose. So you see that the toast is burnt, allow it. Don't get so upset about it. It didn't go towards what you wanted. Open the cap of the sacred essential oil and take your deepest inhale. I think about that idea that I'm completely inhaling the scent of that and allowing it. Your exhale will be at least as full. Shift your perspective. It is the greatest freedom to have the ability to free our own mind no matter our circumstances. I am free in this moment to see things differently. So I love you. Thank you. Bless you. Have an awesome day. I know I went a little bit over, but this was a really big topic. And I'm sure I'll be speaking about this more another time. Thank you so much for showing up. Have a great day.